wait on her to get the water hose and stuff. Jessica, what you doing? Jessica, what the hell is you doing? Look at this fool. Look at this fool. I want y'all just to look at this fool right here.
What?
Jessica, what you doing?
Cleaning the car.
Where's the water hose?
Right?
That's not the water hose. You got to get a water hose and do that. What is you doing?
Mom.
Okay, I'm going to watch this and see how far this goes.
Why are we spending money for a car wash when we can just have our own little detour with the mop?
Oh my God.
All you gotta do is dip it, rinse it, and just whip it around like that. That's all
This
you
is
gotta
sad, y'all.
What? See, why is you taping me, Mom?
Because I want...
Jill's choking, everyone! Why are you saving me?
So, for this video, we decided to rent out a multi-million-dollar house on Malibu Beach. It was literally inches away from the freaking water, but honestly, I don't know why someone would even build a house that close to the water.
Yeah, I honestly hate to spoil it and everything, although it's a very beautiful view. I don't think I could live here, though. Imagine a tsunami came right now.
Oh,
boom,
yeah,
dead. God.
But anyways, the reason we rented it is already cheating on him, but unfortunately, the only evidence that he has is some text messages and some old pictures of her and her side guy. So that's why we rented out the house, in order for my friend Yokes to not just hit on Jessica, but to hook up with her. Yes, the plan was for Yokes to hook up with Jessica in order for Will to catch her red-handed and then confront her. Now here's the even bigger twist. The reason we chose Yokes to be the one to hook up with Jessica is because he's actually her side guy. Jessica is cheating on Will with Yokes, or is it the other way around? Is she cheating on Yokes with William? You guys are gonna find out, but you guys have to pay attention because the storyline for this video doesn't start days nor weeks, but months before we even rented the house in Malibu.
Yes, let's go.
It all kicks off in December of last year with this DM that Jessica sent Yokes. And it was a very innocent DM, but then that innocent DM eventually evolved into a much more serious conversation, and then that conversation evolved into a relationship. Now fast forward to January 15th of this year. Yokes was making a new song with his very good friend, Nikki Page, and he invited me and my team to come over, have a beer, eat some pizza, and just chill while he and Nikki worked on their song. But we weren't the only friends that Yokes invited. Obviously, he invited more of his friends to come, and he also invited Jessica. And that day, ladies and gentlemen, was the first time I officially met her. But what's crazy is that neither she nor Yokes even mentioned that she watched our videos or that they even met because of the videos. It was all just what you can call normal. But after that day, I only ever saw Jessica one more time when Yokes came over, and then that was it. Now fast forward to late March. Yokes hits me up saying something like, "Yo, remember that girl Jessica who I brought to the studio the one time you came? I think she's a gold digger, my guy. We should test her." It took me a couple seconds to understand exactly who he was talking about, but when I did, I replied laughing because it was honestly funny and ironic. But then Yokes explains everything to me, but as opposed to me reading this to you, I just had Yokes record a video of himself explaining how he came to this conclusion.
To make a long story short, about a week after I left the studio, Jessica and we kind of went on like a little break, okay? So we didn't see each other for a couple of weeks, like maybe even a month, I can't remember exactly. But I hit her up again and I said, "Hey, what's up? How have you been?" We reconnected, we hung out again. Then I found out she had a boyfriend. I do a lot of trading on my phone, right? This one day my phone happened to die. Jessica was there. I said, "Hey, can I borrow your phone for, a second to get on there?" So I get on the phone and I'm sitting there and all of a sudden a text message comes in from a guy named Will. And I'm like, who the fuck is Will? I take the phone to the bathroom. I do a little more searching. I just look through these texts with Will and I find out, this is her boyfriend. They're dating. So I'm kind of like, what the heck, man?
And then thanks to Yokes' quick thinking, he writes down Will's number and then sends it to me. That way I can get in contact with him. And I do. So it's now the first week of April, and after a little back and forth conversation with Will, he finally agrees to meet us. So we choose a random park that was halfway between the both of us, and then we head out.
Hey, man.
Yo, is this you right there at the tables?
Yeah, I'm at the table.
Okay, awesome. This is us right here in the car. We got cameras rolling and everything, if that's cool. We're just gonna walk up with him rolling.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
Okay.
We get to the park and I now step out of the car and begin walking over to Will. I greet him, I apologize for the circumstances that we're meeting under, and then I take a seat and begin just getting to know him a little more. It turns out Will is actually from Florida, and he just recently moved to LA in October of last year in order to pursue an acting career. And he just turns out to be a really cool guy and much more friendlier than I expected. Then I proceed to asking him when and how he met Jessica, and he tells me that he met her through social media, and the first time they ever talked was sometime in January, and they started dating in March. So now that we got the full picture, let's take a look at our timeline and see who Jessica is actually cheating on. Will moved to LA to pursue acting in October of last year, and Yoke started talking to Jessica for the very first time in December. They had a break around late January, but then reconnected in early March and are together until today. So if Will first started talking to Jessica in January, then there's a very high chance that he started talking to her when she was already dating Yokes. But hey, you know what? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that she started talking to Will after she and Yoke split. Well, in that scenario, since Will says that she and Jessica started dating in March, then there's a pretty high chance that when Yokes reconnected with Jessica, Jessica was already dating Will. So, in other words, chances are she's cheating on both of them. But anyways, I then show Will all of the evidence that we have so far, and I explain to him that I don't believe it's going to be enough for him to confront her with just that evidence, because at the end of the day, she could just deny it and say that it happened a long time ago, and technically, she wouldn't be lying. However, he had another option. Will could have someone hit on Jessica, we can record it, and then he'll have that recent evidence of her cheating on video.
I'm down. I'm down to do this. I need to have the last laugh.
So he's down, and I tell him that the one who has to hit on Jessica has to be Yokes. Because remember, the whole reason that Yokes and Jessica even met in the first place was because of these videos, which means that she watches them, which means that if we just have this random guy hit on her in like this $1 million home, she's obviously gonna catch on. You know, she might still suspect Yokes, but honestly, I think the chances are slimmer because she would have probably expected him to test her like back in January, like not now. So when he accepts and understands, I then suggest the idea of Yokes hooking up with Jessica. Yes, I suggest